Hi Taurus, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and Taurus, this is going to be a general reading, and there's no date on it, so I trust that when it comes into your feed, it's meant for you. And so today we're going to be doing a reading called Conquer Your Fears. And you know, I think that because of what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of us that are feeling fear in our system. And I know myself, I was feeling it a lot a couple weeks ago. And so I thought, you know, I think I'm going to do a reading about how to conquer your fear. And because it's such an intense emotion in our system, and it can show up in our body, it can show up in our thoughts, and it creates a lot of tension, and it can manifest itself in different ways. And I know for myself, I think my dreams were more vivid for sure. We can have nightmares, and definitely brings up our anxiety. And for me, it brought up a lot of paralysis in my system. So it's very stressful. And it just affects everything we do. And I think because of that, we just want to block it out. And we have a tendency to somehow just push it away, block it. And so we're going to look at, first of all, where fear is showing up in your system. And then I'm going to look at, you know, how are you blocking this fear? And then I'm going to look at what's the origin of this fear. Because what we need to realize is that, yes, there is a lot of fear going around in the universe, and but when it comes into our own system, you know, we can't just blame it on what's happening out there. We have to realize that what's happening out in the bigger world, bigger picture, is triggering our own inner world. And so there's something in your system that's coming up for healing. It'll trigger you know, a memory of ours, something from childhood, something that we've buried. And so we're going to look at that to see what we can uncover for you. And then finally, we're going to look at how you can begin to release this fear. So we're going to ask the tarot for some advice with that. And then I'll also suggest some one or two playlists for you at the end from my other channel called Carol Cares. And so what I'm going to do right now is put you on speed shuffle, and I'll set up your reading for you. I'll be right back. All right, Taurus, I'm back. So where is fear showing up in your life? Well, you start off with two cards, two main cards. And the first one was the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and it was clarified by the Knight of Swords. And so the Six of Pentacles in my deck talks about, you can see in an upright position here, where this hand comes out with a balance, with a scale in their hand, and they're both reaching for the scale. So there's like this, you know, you're looking for some sort of balance in your life, but the Six in my deck has this duality to it, where it often talks about, I know the Rider-Waite deck, if you look at it, talks about, you know, whatever these individuals think they're worth is what is going to be in this little holder right here that holds, you know, the pentacles. It is the pentacles here. And then this other individual is reaching for whatever they think they're worth, right? And so it really is a card of self-worth. It is my self-worth card. And I think here, it was in reverse here. So I think here you're dealing with some real unworthiness on your part. And sometimes we can hide behind that unworthiness. I know unworthiness itself is, you know, that whole thing of, I do a lot of journaling. And so when I feel unworthy, I hear it in my journaling as, I don't matter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. And I see that your Page of Cups is coming up here for sure. So I think, you know, you have the Page of Cups twice actually in here. So Page of Cups is a very powerful card, and you'll see that it is when we get to it. And it really is a part of us that is searching for that love that we didn't get when we were younger. And so I think you're feeling some real unworthiness here. And you've got this Knight behind it. And the Knight is the freedom fighter, and it's the I call it for my freedom fighter, and it's the one that has the sword in her hand. And the sword is all about our authenticity, our truth, who we are, getting back to the truth of ourselves. And it's a real, like an adolescent part of us. We all have it, that they want this freedom. They want this freedom to get back to who they are. And I think you're feeling it. There's this part of you that's wanting you to get back to who are you really. You're sitting here with this incredible unworthiness about yourself. And maybe you hear it, all the things that you say to yourself about yourself, why you're so unworthy, and you can come up with so many things why you just, you're unworthy of love. And then you've got this part of you that's wanting to get back to, let's get to the truth of this. And so you have a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain behind that unworthiness. But I think there's a huge fear on your part to get to that pain because it's in reverse. And so that's where the fear is coming from. You have this unworthiness and it needs healing, and it's coming up for you to look at right now. And yet there's this real fear of going there and looking at, where does this come from? And the big fear here, and it always is the emotions around it. You have a big fear around dealing with these painful emotions of not being loved when you were younger. And that's painful. And then you have the Three of Pentacles in reverse as well. In this deck, because I talk about this as a healing channel, my Three of Pentacles represents all the time this therapy. And maybe this is a call for you, to get some therapy. Maybe that you need some therapy. I mean, I've been in and out of therapy all my life. And it's only been in the last 7 years that I found the right individual. And I think I'll be with her for life now. That's just absolutely incredible, And so maybe there's this, you have a fear of, you don't even want to go back into therapy because you don't want to touch your emotions. There is just this big, huge fear of, I don't want to go there. There's a lot of pain. And when there's that much pain, we'll kind of just go, I don't know where to begin. I'm just so scared. I'm so scared. And I've heard so many people say, they just don't want to open up that Pandora's box and they've tried, they'll open it up and they'll close it right away. Just so scared. And so why are you blocking your fear about this? How are you blocking your fear? Because we've established that you are scared to go inwards. And so how are you blocking it? Well, the first thing is you have the Six of Swords in reverse. In an upright position, this individual is taking this almost like a small child. I love the shaman eye shield that they have on this individual. It's almost like this shaman, this healing individual is holding this young child in a safe place and taking them to smoother waters where it's safe. And this is definitely my safety card. And so it's in reverse for you. What does that mean? And this is how you're blocking your fear. I want to say that maybe you're in an unsafe environment. Sometimes we can think that we are with someone, whether it's a partner or a friend or a family member. We can think that they're actually protecting us. And under the guise of protection, I got this shield thing going on with this shaman figure where it looks like on the outside that you're in a situation where you're being protected, where you feel safe. I don't think you're safe where you are. This is always, when it comes up, it's always a question that's like, are you really safe where you are? And so I think that's how you're blocking your fear. I know it's a hard thing to understand, but you can definitely keep yourself in almost like a re-traumatized situation or a traumatized situation by being with someone that is not meant for you, and that under the guise of protection, but they're really keeping you in a lot of fear because there's so much healing here that needs to take place, but that's blocked. You have this healing, but your healing is blocked. It's in reverse here. And so I can see here that, again, I don't think you're in a safe place to do this healing. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. When you are afraid, you know that you have this healing to do. You know you have to get into your body and feel some of these emotions. But if you know deep down you're not in a safe place, you won't be able to do it. And the last card that comes up is the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card of committing. It's a card of commitment. It's a card of realizing, what's important to you, what really matters. And I don't think you see that. Like, I don't think you feel that your healing is something that's really, really important. And it has to be what really matters to you. And in order for you to see that, in order for it to be what really matters in your life, you have to be safe. I can't say that enough. And then what is the origin of this fear? Where is this coming from? Well, let's see what it says, because we're going to relate it back to what's on the table, what I've already said. And so this is coming from your childhood. It's coming from when you were young, when you were an adolescent. It's your unconscious. It's those things that you put away. It's your trauma. It's your memories, those things that you don't want to look at. We all have it. We just don't want to see it, right? So what is it that's coming up right now for healing? Because this is what this fear is all about. There's something coming up for you. Well, you have the Eight of Swords right here. And I can see here, this is a card about someone that feels very, very trapped. Now, if this card were not in your unconscious, if it were in one of these three sections over here, I would say this is about an individual that feels very, very trapped and can get away, can walk away, right? She can still, she thinks she can't, but she can get away. But as a child, when you are in a trapped situation, when you're younger, you can't get away. You can't. You don't have the capabilities of getting away. You're a child. And I think what's happening here is, so it looks like you were in a trapped situation when you were younger. If you were controlled, you could have been controlled when you were younger. And that's why I'm seeing here that you are not in a safe place. And I think you fear maybe that you can't get away, right? You don't see a way out of it. But you're an adult now. You are an adult now. And you have to realize that you can get away. And the Page of Cups comes up here as a card right behind being trapped, where you can't get away. I can't remember if that was in an upright position or not. The Page of Cups is in reverse here. Page of Cups, I said, it's come up 2 times right here. And it's very important that you understand the meaning of this little card, this page. The page is, all 4 pages of my deck are our inner children. We can have more than one inner child. And this particular inner child is what I call our love seeker, the Page of Cups, because it has the cup backing them up. And the cup is all about emotions. It's all about our desire, our wishes. It's all about love. It's about the love that we didn't get when you were younger. And so if we have an inner child, our love seeker, that's out in a reading that comes out, it tells me that you're very much in your love seeker. There could be very much a part of you that has a tendency to attract toxic people in your life over and over and over again, and become trapped in relationships that you cannot get out of because you're repeating the same pattern when you were younger, when you could not get out of something when you were younger. And so this little part of us holds these memories of these painful memories of not getting the love in all the wrong places when you were younger. And you continue to try to find it as an adult and repeating the same patterns over and over because you're trying to heal. is trying to heal. Your little love seeker needs healing. It needs to be heard. It needs to be listened to. And I journal often from my own little love seeker who wants my love now. I'm the adult now. And so I need to heal this little part of me that wants the love that they didn't get when they were younger. And you have the King of Swords coming up here. And the King is our masculine part. And we all have a masculine and a feminine side. And it has nothing to do with our gender. The King is our ego self. And so you have your ego self here. When you were younger and you were trapped, whether you were controlled, whatever situation it was when you were younger, when you didn't get the love that you needed and wanted, you didn't get validated, you weren't supported, you have all these big emotions that you just couldn't understand. Well, the King comes out, the King of Swords right here. And the King, like I said, it's our masculine self. It'll come out and it'll take us out of our body, because it's in our body when we feel. We don't feel in our head. And so the King will take you and dissociate you. Our ego self will bring us up in our head. And that's where we are. We are safe up in our head. We don't feel our emotions. But we have these emotions. They're just buried. And this is the King with the sword. It's about our authenticity and who we really are. I think you really lost sense of who you really were. When we don't get the validation and the support that we needed when we were younger, we can really lose sense of who we are. And then you have the Justice card as the last card that came out in your unconscious, in your shadow here. Justice talks about bringing balance into your life, bringing truth into your life, getting back to who you really are. Getting back to who you really are. It's buried here. Your truth, who you really are, is buried right here. And yet you're covering it up because you're not in a safe place right now to go and feel, and to get back in your body and to feel these emotions. Because when you feel your emotions, when you start to feel some of this pain right here, this pain from not being loved when you were younger, when you can start to feel that pain, and boy, it's painful. And that's how you heal your inner child. And that's how you're going to start to heal. And so how can you begin to release this fear in your system that does not want to go inwards and feel this pain? Well, here's your Page of Cups that comes out. The universe wants you to focus on your Page of Cups. And like I said, that's your inner child that really needs a lot of attention. It's called our little love seeker. Your little love seeker needs your attention right now. You need a lot of healing around this part. It's a part that's very much will create a lot of chaos in your life. And it'll repeat the same patterns. It will bring in the same toxic people in your life until you heal this part. It takes a lot of journaling and a lot of sitting with their pain. It takes a lot of grieving over what we didn't get when we were younger. You have the Eight of Cups that comes up right behind it, and it's in reverse. Eight of Cups is a card that talks about an individual that's walking away from all these cups. They're not walking away from their emotions. They're walking away on their own. On their own, so they can go and feel. It's blocked right now because right now you're in a situation that may not be the best situation for you. We've established that. But the universe says it's time for you to, in order to heal this younger part of you, your love seeker, you need to go on your own. You need to take some time on your own. And it's very difficult, like I said, if you're not in a safe environment to do that. You need to go off on your own and spend some time with you alone. And oftentimes we end up, we get so, the pain that we have to feel becomes so intense that we can continue to, invite these toxic people into our life, back into our life, and we get hurt and rejected over and over and over again. until we finally heal that younger part of us, our little love seeker. You have the King of Wands here. And the King of Wands is, again, the masculine part of us, our ego self that will block you. Your ego self does not want you to touch these emotions. This is the ego, the wand is about our creative purpose and taking our life into a new direction. The universe very much wants to take you into a new direction. Just like this boat, we're taking this child to a new direction, right? A safer place. But your ego self wants nothing to do with that. It'll always come in and try to, get you to stay where you are, convince you that where you are is a safe place, that convince you that where you are is the right place for you to be. It doesn't want to take you, it doesn't want to go into a different direction. And so you have to be aware of that your ego self is going to come out all the time and try to block you because it's just trying to keep you safe. That's what it did when you were younger. It just kept you safe because that's all it knew what to do. That was its job. It did its job when it was younger, but now it doesn't realize, our ego self doesn't realize that we're an adult now and our adult self gets to decide now what to do. Because our ego self will often kick in and will think that that's our adult self, but it's not. And so it's really part of this healing journey is to figure out, what part of this is my ego and what part of this is my adult self now. So I'm going to leave you with, I think what I want to do is I'm going to leave you with Facing Your Fear. First of all, a playlist on that. I'll also leave you with a playlist on journaling. I think it's really important that you start to journal. I also, have really good videos on grounding as well on my other channel called Carol Cares. So I'll leave you with journaling and I'll leave you with the fear playlist. And I want you to have compassion for yourself, Taurus, for what you're working through. This is the most difficult journey of your life, trying to heal yourself, but it's the most important one so you can get back to your authentic self. I'll talk soon. Bye-bye.